47. The name 47, the number rather, signifies to me and to everyone watching a new beginning. To celebrate that new beginning, I decided tonight I'm going to change up the format. I'm going to make sure we have some fun discussing some very important topics. No, it's nothing I want to talk about. No, it's nothing majorly important. Lord knows everybody's talking about the obvious. But tonight, I'm going to hand the show over to you. We're going to talk about things that are important to those behind the wheel. We're going to have fun doing it, and we are going to make some productive use out of time where I normally flap my gums and create crap. Now, tonight it's for you guys, and tonight it's Frontlines the way it ought to be. We have a great cast of characters as usual joining us as we're going to start this show. If you want to highlight your griefs, your good points, and anything that you think other truckers would benefit from, give us a call on our studio line, 860-785-3547, 860-785-3547. As I charge up and activate the studio line, we're going to talk about things that matter to you. The front lines is just that. The front lines. It is where the rubber meets the road. It is where the job itself gets done. So I'm going to headline the first question and bring up my co-host. And I'm going to bring up the point of, well, how do you stay sane in such a crazy world? So tell me, my fearless co-host, the man who says truckers are people too. How do you stay sane?
What are feelings? If you don't have feelings, you don't have to worry about sanity, do you?
This is very true. This is very true. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, you know, it's obviously something we all focus on. You know, I mean, every day we're out here, we're focused headlong on got to get it done, got to be better than yesterday, got to be better than everyone else. So, I mean, how do you compartmentalize that? How do you make sense out of it?
I'll tell you what. I don't know if everybody's built this way, but for me, it's work. The way I keep my sanity is by working. People
Mhm.
that don't work, people that are sitting in truck stops and not driving trucks, I don't know how they keep their sanity. But the
Mhm.
more I drive, the more sane I feel.
Mhm.
But the more I sit around and don't do anything, the less sane I feel. So that's how I deal with it. I work.
Yep. If you have any ideas for stories you'd like covered on future episodes of Truckin Frontlines, by all means, send them to that's Truckin News at Outlook.com. That's Truckin News at Outlook.com. I'm making some changes behind the scenes, but that right there is one thing that will never change. My email address is that simple. That's Truckin News at Outlook.com. I'll tell you, you know, when it comes to sanity, I mean, we all have our cross to bear. Some are easier than others, but when it comes down to it, you know what? There's good, there's bad, and then there's really hard to deal with. Now, I understand you, Thumper, have kind of a little special circumstance that pretty much dictates every time you come on my show, you feel it almost abundantly important to push the idea of greater awareness to mental health, especially for those of us who are isolated as we are on a daily basis. Tell me a little bit about that. Why do you feel such a huge strength to pushing that?
Well, I mean, it is important. I mean, you got to be mentally there and focused on the road, being aware of what you do. Sorry, Bo. uh, you got to be
Pressure.
aware of
Oh
what
yeah.
you're doing, and you're not just worried about your life. You're worried about every other people's lives out there, all the cars and the pickups, farmers. I mean, because they drive equipment down the road and stuff like that. So you got to be aware of everything. And if you're not there in the mental state of mind, some bad stuff will happen.
It can
To
very quickly.
to give you kind of a breakdown on how this affects drivers, semi drivers commit 46 work suicides a year. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but even as it is accounted for the suicide rates on workplace and everything, it's 2072. These are all numbers from last year. Which suicide rate in a workplace, and the numbers are that high, that's not good. I mean,
Even
the truck,
one
yeah,
is
even
more
one,
than needs to be. Even one is
even
too much.
even one is too, yeah, exactly. Even one for the suicide rate, even accidents. I mean, a lot, the internet, the internet. Sorry, moving my hand. He's trying to paw at it. Even the internet, they could throw all these numbers out there, but your work-related death accidents, like even in the accidents that happen every day with heavy semis, heavy equipment, stuff like that, is because you're not in the right state of mind of doing your job.
Well, that can be said for that. Yeah. Tell me how much easier is it for your state of mind to have that companion so loyally sitting there next to you on camera?
He helps out a lot. I mean, tremendous a lot. I mean, yeah, earlier today we were going down the road and he was trying to climb in my lap while I was driving, and they need loving too, but just like how I am right now, I'm sitting in my sleeper right now. He's laying on my lap right now, giving me lovins. He knows there's something bothering me right now.
Yeah.
And that's why he's all cuddly like this. When I'm in a good mood and stuff like that, he leaves me alone, I leave him alone. But even going down the road, I'm focused on the road. If I catch myself getting into those bad thoughts and stuff like that, I reach over and I pet his head.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, like you, John, I think Boss Man, you definitely know, and a lot of the panel do. We all become very good friends here. I share pictures and stuff on my TikTok with him laying on his back, all four paws, and I look over and it makes me laugh. And having a pet in a vehicle or in the truck with me, there's companies out there that don't allow you to do that. That's something you got to look into. But when I look over and I see him laying there with all four paws in the air, tongue hanging out and everything, he's sleeping away. I'm not only I don't only have my life in the truck, I have his life in the truck here too. So it makes me a little more aware, and it keeps me in that right. Yeah, and it keeps me in that state of mind to keep going.
Yeah.
Let me combine what we're talking about with a comment, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So we're talking about the sanity of a driver and how we stay sane. Well, 7C's asked, let's talk about why y'all are over the road drivers instead of local. Now, local would actually be probably a different scenario because you'd be going home at night and stuff like that. So why do we choose to be over the road knowing the mental thing that goes on with us?
That is a great way to headline the rest of this show. I see comments coming in. I want to dive into that comment as well as what else I see coming in. So let's hang tight for just one moment while I queue up a way to start the show off right. Give me one moment, guys, because my computer is only half cooperating with me today. So let's start it off with a bang, shall we?
We begin. From Truckin City Central Command, you are on the front lines. Truckin News.
The semi-truck driver accused of causing that deadly crash on Highway 285 this week, now under arrest.
Cutting edge opinion, and we will make trucking great again.
Built for truckers.
You should be hauling that freight based on what works for you.
By truckers.
Remember, get them done.
Featuring.
I think trucking is a very good career.
And I am gonna beat them.
I'm gonna beat him too.
We don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Remember, truckers are people too.
Hosted by the El Rushbo of Truckin' News, Boss Man.
As said earlier, 860-785-3547. We are taking on you guys, your thoughts, your concerns, your comments. Let them fly, my friends. We are here for you, doing our damnedest to make trucking great again. If you have ideas for future stories, by all means, please bring them to my attention. My email address, that's truckinnews@outlook.com. We are here on Frontlines. Our regular schedule is Wednesday and Saturdays at 7 p.m. We are here twice a week, airing out dirty laundry. Well, so to speak, news. Who likes news? Me. I like news. I bring it to life for you guys. I tell you not only how I feel, but I open this platform so that you guys can honestly talk about what it means to you. As we were talking a minute ago, we were talking about a comment left by one of our regular viewers about the differences between OTR and local. So now, in the comments, if you're a trucker, put it down. What to you is a significant difference between, mentally anyway, and the way you run between being local versus being over the road? I'd like to hear from you. So let's have this conversation, guys. John, you were about to make a valid point. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to get that business stuff out of the way. What's your answer to 7Cs?
I think he wants to know why we chose over the road rather than local. Well, I think that depends on where you live, because some local jobs aren't really that available in some areas. For me personally, when I went out on the road, I started as over the road. I'm comfortable over the road. Yes, it'd be nice to be home every day, or more often than I am, but the money's just not there for me from where I live anyway. Maybe as an owner operator where I live it would be, but as a company guy it wasn't. So, but that would definitely help with my mental, where I am mentally is if I was home every day, because then you get to see your family, you get to see, people that remind you of why you do what you do every day.
Right. So. What could we say about sanity in trucking? I mean, as John pointed out, it's a choice he made, but Grumpy, I mean, could we or could we not really have a valid argument for, if you find the right kind of job and you tune yourself to that job and it was really meant for you, that could go a long way to helping that sanity that we've been talking about through the last 13 minutes of the show? Your audio, Frank. And while he fixes that, Larry, what do you think? Do you think that goes a long way? I mean, if you find a job you like, I mean, I've heard it said in other social media outlets, find a job you love and you never have to work a day in your life. What say you?
His audio's out too.
I don't know what it is with you guys. You guys got to find it.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Yep. And why do you suppose that is? That's fine. Why do you suppose that is?
I've done both. I've done local, I've done regional, I've done over the road. Over the road's where I'm comfortable at. So why change it if it don't need to be fixed?
Very true. Very true indeed. Very true indeed. Frank, if you're better, try it again. Why don't you give me an answer, grumpy old answer to that question?
Can we hear me?
Oh, we can hear you fine.
You can hear me? All
yes,
right.
I can.
Anyhow, I was saying is, I myself have been out here 24 plus years, and for the longest I ran over the road, and then I came off the road, did local Class B work, which doesn't pay a whole lot. I wound up doing that for several years, and then I wound up going back out, and now here I am back out on the road. But before I got what I feel like is fitting me just fine now, I ran, over the road as well for a month at a time. Then it dwindled down to where I was home every 2 weeks, and now I'm home every weekend, as a rule. So, it doesn't mean you're going to make a whole lot of money. No. It just means that you're going to be able to be home more with your family if you want to. Now, there's people out there that stay out for many weeks at a time. You know, Larry is one example. He tends to stay out for long periods of time and then goes home. So, I mean, some are cut for it, some aren't.
Right. Got Sassafras in the crowd giving us a good question to start the day with. Good evening, gentlemen. I'd like to know, how does a male in a male-dominant industry deal with the isolation and stress of being on the road for long periods of time? Perfect question for the perfect segue and part of what we're talking about. Thank you to Sassafras for that. Thumper, I mean, obviously, you've kind of got that answer already figured out right there in your lap. But would you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna backtrack for a minute because there was a comment on the screen. I can't remember. Cheap Freight Hauler, I think it was. Nothing is sane anymore. I disagree with that one 100%. You are sane. Everybody's built different, and this kind of goes into Sassafras' question here. We're all built different. I was born into this industry. Like, my dad was in the military. He became an over-the-road truck driver, so I hardly got to see him. That's the way I was raised. And not only that, you know, we had a farm and everything we took care of too. So I'm a hardworking guy, and I've had dogs with me my entire life. So it's kind of, you hear that saying all the time. They're not just your best friend and everything else. They're part of your family, and he is part of my family, and he helps me. He knows having a dog in the truck, in my opinion, is one of the best things to have because they sense something before we even do ourselves.
True that.
And he does. He knows when I'm starting to get either tired, because he'll actually grab my shirt to try to start pulling me into the sleeper while I'm driving. You know, that's not safe, but he lets me know before I know that I'm getting to that point. And he knows when I'm starting to get sad, when I'm starting to miss home, and sorry, he's making me. Yeah, he does. And I'm moving my hand up and down, and he thinks it's time to play. So
no, let him play. I mean, he's a dog. That's what they're designed to do. I mean,
and
that little guy ain't gonna bother my show at all. I mean, if he wants to play, let him play.
Yeah, well, and you guys become to know Bo, and that is his name. I didn't pick his name. My daughter did.
Yeah.
And so we call him Bobo, and he was a little fart at first. Like when he first came into the truck, he was all over the place and everything else. And now he's not used to being home, just like I am.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, I have kids, everything else, trying to overcome that of not seeing them. But the technology nowadays has come a long ways. Every night, like, I don't know what, I think it's like 6 o'clock here or something like that.
Yeah.
So generally at 7 o'clock at night, my daughter calls me, and if I'm not driving, we will video chat. The way the technology has kind of helped. So in like Poet's instance, not trying to pick on him, but he's a lot older. He's been around where there was no cell phones.
Oh yeah. So I'm sure we can get into that here in just a couple of minutes. Yeah, I mean, because I was about to touch on the community aspect of the discussion that we're having. So I'll touch on that in just a minute. So that's we've come a long way in that regard.
You got to find that happy medium that keeps you motivated, that keeps you insane. A lot of it is I'm on the phone with you guys almost 24/7, and I'm trying to run a business too, so it makes it a little bit difficult. But you got to find that balance that works for you. And if you're starting to get those bad thoughts, go talk to somebody, a best friend, somebody professional.
Very important. Very important. Yes.
You need to get it out, and you need to find
it's not even so much getting it out. It's getting the comfort of knowing someone else understands. And I don't mean to cut you off, Thumper, because what you're saying is vitally important, and no one better to talk about it but you. But I almost want to step over that to a very important point I feel passionate about, and that's just the idea of building a community. Okay, the formal reason I started this entire channel and have this show is for community. And it's grown because the simple fact that I would not know all of you on this panel were it not for my desire to start a YouTube channel. And one didn't come before the other. The desire came, then the benefit of meeting you guys. Yeah, I mean, just it became part of the nomenclature of me, the show, and what this is all about. And it just leads me to, I think, the most important advice is you are not alone out here. You can, without even so much as realizing it, build a network and a community of people that are like you, that are willing to support you, that understand you. They can't fix all your problems. No one can. Only you can do that. But it also helps knowing someone will listen to you. Poet, I hear you chiming out. Or okay, you got something to do. All right, I'm gonna give you a second.
I'm gonna add one more thing.
Go ahead.
This is gonna be a shock to you guys panel because you guys haven't heard this come out of my mouth before.
Okay.
You've heard. I'm gonna start out this way. You guys have heard that I started my whole TikTok thing to spread the awareness of mental health, and I do a lot of motivational stuff on there to try to keep us truck drivers going.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's something I've been working on, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do it all. But I actually want to open up a phone line and get volunteers, like other truck drivers and stuff, where if you're having those moments, there's a phone number you could call and you could talk to another truck driver that understands what position you're in, and maybe it will, just try to help other drivers out.
Yeah. Okay. Behind the scenes, I'm flashing two comments because I read them and they flagged my interest. I thought originally, Chief Freight Hauler, you were talking about the area affected by the hurricane, but then I scanned down and looked at the following comment where you said that there's 6 instances in the last 3 days of vehicles getting shot at. So yeah, if you're traveling through around Raleigh, please be careful. If you see something, say something. I hate to sound like Giuliani, but that's how we solve problems. That's how you support a network. If you see something, say something. Thank you, Chief Freight Hauler, for letting us know that. That is very important. Let's keep everybody safe and in the know. But back to your point, Thumper, yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I mean, in terms of community, Poet, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you by default have way more experience than everybody here. And for that, I've heard you reference a number of times to me personally. I don't know if you've said this to everybody else, but you're grateful for knowing everybody here. So from your perspective, what is that whole idea that I brought up about having a community and finding like-minded people mean to you?
Why do you think I'm here week after week after week?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I get that.
Thumper, I'm still waiting on your phone calls. I've never had one, but that's okay.
Hey.
As far I'm concerned, where I traveled, used to travel in the bush, way up by the Arctic Ocean, where you have nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
And no cell service.
Mm-hmm.
And the companies will not buy you a satellite phone.
Right.
What do you got left?
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's kind of a good point because I'm making a video right now where I'm talking about the differences between new tech and old tech, and I referenced in that video a lot about old CB radios. Even CB radios have their limitations; they can only reach us so far. But you of all people know about the needs for technology and the lack of it because I mean, back in the day, earlier than we were driving, there were no cell phones, so having community today is far easier and probably more beneficial.
I use EHF radios, but they're illegal in the States because lots of emergency services use. I have
they're more license rigid down here. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
2 radios. One with 580 some odd channels and the other is 104. But
Yep.
if I can't use it, where am I going to go?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So this
Yep.
panel here, okay,
Mhm.
it's been a life. It really has been.
Well, and we love having you because I mean we pick on you, but some of the stories you tell and just what you're relating to us now, I mean, is so meaningful to me. I mean, we have a huge variety of experience here, and it's not just in sectors; it's age, it's experience. I had that one slide that says 100 years. Someone poked me one of these days. I need to update that damn thing. This panel's almost 200 years worth of experience. John, do you want to say something?
Yeah, actually I want two things if you don't mind real quick.
Not at all.
So my name obviously down here is a joke over there, wherever it is
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
What are peelings? Because we're talking about peelings in a male industry, male oriented, not all males work in it obviously, but peelings are not a thing, and I had a guy that just reached out in the comment section wondering who he could give his number to be part of Thumper's thing. So I'll connect those two if they both want to work that out. He's a good guy. I know Thumper, and I also.
Oh,
Whoops.
you kicked him out.
No, I didn't. He kicked himself out. I was trying to bring you and Thumper, or him and Thumper, closer, screen wise, close together. He
No.
kicked himself out.
StreamYard's having issues. That's where I went a while ago. It just like, bye.
Oh, really? Was it StreamYard?
Yes.
I wonder if it has anything to do with all those many warnings that I get when I log into the program.
Don't know, but that's what's
When's the
going
last-
on.
Yeah.
Oh, when's the
So-
last time you updated it?
Well, with me, my browser's up to date. I don't know.
Okay.
But to the guy that was, to the guy that John was
There he
talking
is.
about before he rudely
Sorry
got
about
bumped.
that.
That wasn't me, John. That was StreamYard bumping you. Something
Yeah,
happened there.
I know.
I was trying to
Well-
bring everybody off, but you and Thumper, and have you two, on there. But StreamYard
Well-
booted you before that could go on.
They heard I don't have feelings because I'm a man, so they just figured I'd be all right with it, and I am. Whatever. It is
Right,
what it is.
yep.
No, that was one thing I wanted to say because I actually know that gentleman, and he's a good down to earth guy, and he's got lots of experience. The other thing I wanted to bring up here since we're talking about this, see, this is not a normal conversation for males to have. So
No.
I'll be honest. A lot of people that are out there are watching this are probably like I am on the screen, kind of squirming. I don't talk about peelings. I don't do peelings. There's guys on here that will tell you I don't talk about peelings. I'm that guy. Okay. So if you're out there and you're squirming watching this, suffer through it, because these guys will get you to a point where they'll make you healthier by having you talk about things you didn't think you would talk about. And that's what's good for you.
Well, and it's not just us or any person in particular. The idea that you're reaching out and telling someone else by itself has a huge benefit without you even realizing it. You don't have to become that numb guy or that guy that lets it all flow. It's not, it's a drop the ego thing. It's just reaching out and having a conversation. That by itself does everything. And that is usually probably one of the most difficult things for men like us to do. Grumpy, you're the first one I knew in this entire group. It took me a good long time to actually open up and say, okay, let's try. Let's do. As far as I can recall, a couple of months. Good Lord, it was back and forth. And I was really weary at first.
Yep.
Speak for yourself. But have at it.
Well, it came about the factor that, I'll be honest, the first person I was friends with here was John up there. Then you came into the picture because I liked your content. You made a lot of sense. But it took a little bit for you to warm up to me and get to know me. And, now we're like a big family, honestly. I know John doesn't like the mushy,
Oh,
but
whatever.
we're a big family. And that's the way we've became.
We're a
Yep.
dysfunctional family.
Yeah, hey, there you go. I like that.
All right,
Nothing more
all
or less-
right, sure.
nothing more or less
But we're
than
still a
that.
big family. I didn't say anything about happy. I just said we're a big family. Okay.
Does that make you the mom there, Grumps?
Yeah, there you go.
No,
Uh,
I'll
uh,
pass on that.
Go ahead, poet. Go ahead.
I will be the first one, okay, to say
Mhm.
that I have mental problems.
Mhm.
I have since I was 4. I am an advocate for people with mental problems they have.
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, I have people around here that I have
Mhm.
actually helped get help.
Okay. Good for you.
I have my I have my wife who keeps me on the straight and narrow.
Good for her.
She's a
That's a
better
challenge.
she's a better therapist than Shrinks,
It is true. It
and
is
I'm
true.
always available. And like I
Mhm.
say, I have people in the middle of the night crying.
Mhm.
Men,
Yep.
men, doesn't matter.
All
They're crying and they want to know what to do, where to go, because they know I have my mental problems.
Mhm.
The hell am I gonna do? Just
Yeah.
go
Well,
away?
the best thing you can do is be available and
That's
talk
right.
about it. I mean,
That's right.
exactly. I mean, nothing, no harm can come from it. Um, Thumper, I take
No,
it you had to add something. I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah. So I see your question down at the bottom there,
Yeah, yeah. I
and
was
then I'm
gonna do
also
that.
and I'm also gonna add to what. Oh shoot, I totally forgot.
Yep.
I'm like literally drawing a blank now.
Yeah.
But no, okay, so I'm gonna answer Sansafras question here. It is actually pretty easy to fall into it. It takes a real person to admit it.
Yes.
The first
For
step
those of us,
of
for those of us who may not be available to watch the screen, let me read the question. Sassafras says, "How easy is it for a trucker to fall into a depressed or unhealthy mental state?" That's for the benefit of those listening to this broadcast. Go ahead, Thumper.
yeah.
1 minute.
Uh,
Go ahead.
anyways, um, so yeah, it is very easy to fall into it. I've fallen into it. I'm gonna kind of open up and tell you guys a little story here. Um, and I'm not doing this for popularity or anything like this.
Mhm.
I'm doing this to show you guys how much this means to me.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Before I met the panel, so
Mhm.
this has been what 3, 4 months ago.
Mhm.
That's about how long I've known you guys. I was in a really dark spot and I was ready to throw my hands up. I was hauling a load of cattle, had no care in the world, and I was doing over 100 mile an hour on a 2-lane road that twist and turned up and down. I just didn't care. I
Mhm.
was ready to put it in the
Mhm,
truck and just end it all.
mhm,
That's not the right state of mind to be in. Now, what
nope.
kind of helped me get over that was I started thinking. Bo knew something was wrong. He was trying to get into my lap, and then it started like everything just started clicking and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I have kids. I love my kids to death.
Right.
And then so that kind of got me over it. I run a successful business and that's like, you know what, I can't do that. I got something going on for my life. And then a few weeks later, I met the panel.
Wow.
And honestly, once I met you guys, got to know you guys, started doing these shows, I'm like a totally different person. I'm happier. I look forward to going to work every day. I look forward to talking to everybody.
Mhm.
But like I said, and a lot of the panel has gotten to know me, and I have opened up to you guys, like especially some of you guys,
Mhm.
and um, you guys are like Grumpy said, you're my family, you're my best friends,
Mhm.
you're there. If I can't get a hold of one of you, there's always another. There's enough of us where I can
Yep.
get a hold of somebody if I go down
Yes.
that road.
Yes, definitely.
So pretty much the moral of my story is don't give up. Talk to somebody. We all work together. We could help you get through it, and at the same time, it'll help us get through what we need to. Because talking to
in a very short
does help.
in a very short statement, and please, Thumper, do not get into detail. I have my reasons. But in a very short statement, tell everybody why this whole idea of mental health means so much to you.
Because I used to not have feelings,
Mhm.
and I never showed them,
Mhm.
and I have PTSD.
Mhm.
Um,
So you're actually reaching out to us
Mm-hmm.
was a form of therapy.
it is.
Okay. For that, I'm grateful that you're willing to tell, and I react with humility because I'm really, before I got to know you, Thumper, I really didn't know that about you, and the fact that you were willing to tell me that just it bridges on what I feel, and I know you'll agree with this. I feel is a very important message in this show tonight, and that is the way I started the show. You're not alone. Everybody out here usually does get into trucking for one primary reason. And little do they realize it can become their undoing. We get into, most of us, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but most of us get into the business because we don't work well with others. And on that baseline, we seek the isolation and the independence, but we do it without realizing what the risks are. And I think by highlighting the benefits of someone, as in the case of everyone on this panel and yourself specifically, it more or less opens the idea that, having a community, if it's only one, it can really be a lifesaver and it can really be a life changer. So didn't mean to cut you off, but I felt like that was an important point to make because, a lot of people actually criticize me for having a show like this, even though on a routine basis it's news and opinion. A lot can be said for just sharing ideas and sharing ideals. A lot of benefits we had from it.
It really does. And like I said, I know I keep preaching about it, and you guys are probably getting tired of me hearing about it.
Yeah.
But
And Seven Seas, we don't consider anything you say passing judgment. We consider it a contribution. So you keep right on going, my friend.
Thank you. It is. If you're gonna sit there and bottle it up, it's gonna affect your work, which is gonna affect another person, which could lead into a really bad disaster.
Yep.
And
more or less building. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, and that is part of the reason why we do kind of take up trucking, is so we could be alone. We could be away from everybody. It's not just, that's why I got into trucking.
Yeah.
I work pretty good with other people, but I have an issue of taking authority. I am the type of person where I want to be the boss. I want to make everything run smoothly. Well,
1 minute, poet.
A 9-to-5 job, you can't really have that. So I started driving, and I'm like, I really enjoy this. I'm by myself. I'm on my schedule. I do what I need to do. And then I started falling into that depression because there was no one to talk to.
Yep. Real quick, poet, and I want to move on to the comments. Go ahead.
Okay, so what Thumper's saying is absolutely right. We want to be by ourselves, want to be in charge. We take direction well because, well, at some point we know what we're doing.
Yep.
And that's where the issue of sharing with somebody else comes in.
Yeah.
But if you if you learn how to share, people will learn how to care.
There you go. Good way to put that. Smart move. I like that. That's a very good point. Go ahead, John.
You're about ready to go to the comments anyway. So
do
you want me to wait until you get to these comments, or do you want me to go ahead and bring them up now? Because there's 2 comments in here from the same person that kind of tie together, and I'd like to go over that.
Well, if what you're saying is what I've got highlighted on the screen, have at it. If not, I want to
No,
get as much in
no,
order.
keep going down. When you get to it, I'll let you know.
Sure, not a problem. I'd be happy to do that. Chief Freight Holder, more rest and adventure, running OTR 17 years before going OTR. And where is the second one? Because you come up right there. My local gig was 6.5, 12, 6 12s 1 week, 5 14s next. And all I did was work and sleep. I think that was building on our earlier conversation about the benefit and difference between OTR versus local. So, Chief Freight Hall, I appreciate him adding that in there. 7C's talking about Raleigh still. That technology still to have doesn't give good hugs though. Do you feel like that's important?
Hey, hold on a second. I got an answer for that one. Bo,
Go ahead, Tupper.
Come here, Bo. Come here. There's my
Grumpy.
hug right here. This
There
is my
you go.
hug. This guy right here.
There you go.
Grumpy's. Oh, go ahead.
That is perfect. That is perfect right there. That is a perfect picture. You don't need technology to get a hug. There you go. I like that.
But if you do want to use technology, Grumpy's got an app that can take a picture and make you hug somebody else on a picture.
Hold on.
Just saying.
I got something else that means truly dearly in this truck, and I thought I lost it, and I freaked out for months. And then here, what happened is, Bo, I need you out of my face. I ended up finding it was underneath my bed. This guy right here.
Oh, right there. I'll bet
Tigger.
the press is chomping at the bit to get that.
My daughter's grandmother made this. And for Christmas, my daughter gave this to me when I was getting ready to go over the road.
Wow. That is so
what are you doing? What
Go
are
ahead.
you doing
No,
with
go ahead.
my wife?
That's cool.
My wife's name is Tig. I want to
Yep.
know what you're doing with my wife.
I forgot about it. So you just mentioned that. That's funny.
But I do. I have stuff, and I'm not gonna go sit here digging through stuff right now. But I have stuff in my house or from my house that is in my truck that reminds me of home and why I'm out here.
Right. John, go ahead and highlight that comment you were talking about. I'm kind of focused on one, but I got a feeling we're
I'm actually going to do them out of order. So 7C says, as men, we want to fix the situation. It's only when then we realize that we can't do it alone, and that's when relief comes mentally. I know what he's referring to, and it comes along with this comment, which is, I'm not a doctor, but he's talking about helping other people. I'm not a doctor, but between military and life experience and the Word of God, my heart can figure some things out. Guys, I'm not going to speak for everybody on the panel, but for me, a lot of my sanity comes from above. Honestly, I don't hide it. I don't run from it. I'm a Christian, and a lot of times that's where I go for my sanity. Honestly, I don't talk about feelings a lot, and I always joke that I don't have feelings, but in reality, that is where I go, because that is my sanity. That is my peace. So if you want to know more about that, you feel free to email me or whatever. But that I just felt like that should have been said in here somewhere. So.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer, like yourself, John. Give it all to God is what I say all the time. And it's not that you have to let him answer all your things, but he makes all things possible. He answers all prayers. He is the designer of all things. So it's abundantly obvious and clear. Could he not be the way in which you solve most problems? So yeah, 2 7Cs. That's my outlook. I'm sure you may or may not agree with it, but
he agrees.
I do agree that having faith in him certainly will get you through most things. What I was going to highlight was a question that Sespress put up. How do you do parenting while you're on the road? Well, first of all, I'm going to lead off with saying I'm not the world's best parent. Okay. I have raised kids. I have made mistakes. I'm human. But I will say one thing. Where most men are home doing a 9-to-5 routine and they're there, we as truck drivers don't have that same luxury. So parenting on the road is a very stiff challenge. But I meet it with technology. Technology makes my access to my children and my ability to raise them from afar a lot easier than the average individual on the road if they don't have it. So if you're going to go on the road, if you are a trucker on the road, if you are looking for ways to make it easier to do just that, parenting while you're on the road, stay in touch, communicate effectively, and don't be afraid to get in front of a camera. Those are my 3 pieces of advice. I'll leave it to the rest of the panel. You guys got something to add? Grumpy, you got kids? What do you think?
Yep. I've got technically 4. 2 still at home, 2 grown on their own. But I actually, whenever the other 2 were living at home, I was, just getting back out here on the road.
Right.
And, my older ones weren't so bad. They were pretty good about when I said something to them, even if it was over the phone, they listened. I mean, they were pretty good, respectful for the mother. My 2 younger ones, not so much. They're, more of this newer generation. They think they should disrespect us and all that. So, it's a little harder. I mean, it does put a strain on me, but being that's one of the reasons why I chose it, I needed to be home more often. So I have earned the respect of having the chance to be home every weekend. So that helps. When I come home on the weekends, I deal with them. Now, not all is that able to be done for everybody.
Exactly. Well, everybody's style is different. But I felt it important to mention the whole technology thing. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, not every guy's blessed like I am. I have a wonderful wife at home that does 99% of the parenting, and I step in when I have to. And I know that's probably not the best parenting technique, but for a trucker, that's a reality that we can't be there all the time. I mean, a great example is my daughter was in an accident recently. I've been on the phone with her just about, a couple times a day, helping her get through this process of what to do after an accident. It'd be easier if I was there in person, but it's not a reality as a trucker. We have to learn how to deal with things and think outside the box, not like somebody that works 9 to 5.
Before we get 100 comments, she is okay, unharmed, just the car. Bad for the car, but,
actually, she just went to a doctor today, and she has a lot of more issues than we thought. So, yeah, but she'll be
also naturally,
well, she'll be okay. She'll be okay, but she's got some healing to get through.
I think I could say this for the panel. Our prayers to her.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Without even so much as thinking. Last thing I'll add is that I will second his comment about the wife, not only to his wife, because I know, John, you are no easy cupcake to put up with, but I will back that up with,
me?
If it were not for my wife, I would not have the sanity to carry this show through. So to my wife, kudos. The parenting skills that woman has had to learn hard and fast on her own are immense, and the list is long. So to my wife, God bless you, my lady. You are an absolute miracle walking on 2 legs. I really, that's really all I can say. And to my children, you better listen because Daddy's watching. That's all I'm going to say. Either you guys want to add anything to it, Grumpy?
Sure.
Go ahead.
My wife puts up with a lot too. You guys wind up being on the phone sometimes with me and ask for popcorn passing back and forth.
No. I'm not going to let you do that. No. That woman gives you crap when you deserve it. She keeps you straight. You tell it like it is, old man. Don't you lie to my audience.
Okay. Just so nobody here gets in trouble with their wives, I'm going to read a comment real quick. 18-wheeler says, I always enjoy having good conversations with the people at the truck stop or restaurant. Gets me out of my shell out here over the road. Always nice to communicate with people. Now, that is a mistake I make a lot. Honestly, I call myself a hermit. I don't get out of my truck. And if you are going through a hard time, get out of your darn truck, walk into the truck stop, and just talk to people. That would help more than you could ever imagine. So I think that's a great comment.
It doesn't even have to be about your problem either. It could just be like, it's going to rain tomorrow. You're
Right.
getting
Yeah.
you're getting that human interaction is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I see Larry keep raising his hand, so
Yeah, he
I was
wants to
gonna
add
let
to it.
well, I was gonna add something to the whole parenting thing too.
Go ahead. Larry, you
Real
first.
quick, and yeah, we'll let Larry go.
Yeah. I got no
Are
limits
you
on the
sure?
show. So go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna add. Everybody's got their wives at home and everything, and some of us out here don't have that anymore. So that's a whole different ball game, probably for another topic for another time. But
But in the meantime, you have us, my friend. You have us.
I do.
Yep.
And sometimes all it takes is for an ear to listen to you.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
I want to
And I'm
file
sure
for
I-
divorce.
I have. I'm sure I can speak for the audience.
No.
They don't mind
John,
either.
you live
Not from my
on a
wife,
no
from
fault
y'all
road.
guys. You guys are being way too mushy right now.
This is a no fault group. You get what you get.
John, you'll get over it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, just like we say all the time. They'll get over it. Anyways, the whole parenting thing, yeah, it's hard. It really is. I have the other half to, thank for that. The stuff she puts up through the raising them and everything else. But as a cattle hauler, you think we get no sleep when we're on the road? When I go home and spend time with my girls, I don't sleep at all.
No.
Really?
I can definitely relate to that. Yeah, I don't get much sleep myself because it takes me forever to get back into the swing of things when I'm either getting out of the truck back home or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. I want to recognize a new face I've seen on our comments. Synergy, welcome to the show. Love you guys. So caught up in y'all's live. Thank you for joining us. Typos. Hey, what? You know what? I suck on the keyboard too, so I won't hold it against you there. The wife, let me see. I think did you cover this one already? I'm not a doctor between military. Yeah, you did. Good for you. Okay, Lori, hi, Synergy, welcoming her. Okay. Yeah, Lori is my right hand. She is my wife. So she is welcoming people in here. America first. What's this?
And
Are
she
you guys?
puts up with all of our stuff too. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
really got to give her props.
Yeah.
She needs
America
a raise to
first.
put up with him.
Yeah, I think I addressed that question once I started, but I'll tell you honestly, if it has to be said, hey, Trump's going to be good for trucking. That's all I'm saying. Let me see here. Trying to get caught up on comments, guys. Don't mean to be rude to you here. To make it harder for you guys as a trucking industry to be more profitable. Anybody want to answer that one? What's making it harder?
What's making it harder?
Payments.
I'll be honest.
Inflation.
It's not so much making more money on the road, it's how much money gets spent at home. And I don't mean that against my wife. Food costs more, electric costs more, housing costs more, car payments cost more. Everything that we pay costs more. So it's not so much how much we're making that needs to improve. It's all the other stuff needs to go back to where it was, or what we make needs to go more. But that is what I see anyway. It's not so much truckers are losing money out here getting paid less. I think it's everything costs so much more.
To those watching the show, I'd like you to opine, put it in the comments on a percentage basis, based on the question you see on the screen. How likely, from 1 to 100, 0 being not likely, 100 being extremely likely, how likely do you think it is anytime soon we'll see an improvement in what John just mentioned? Prices coming down, fuel being easier to purchase, life in general getting easier now that 47 is who he is. I want to see some comments. I want to know your thoughts. Larry, what do you think?
Well, me and Grumpy were having this discussion earlier, and it's going to take about a year or two before we start seeing any kind of anything good happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it always takes time. Well, look at when he was his first term. I think it took over a year, but eventually things started to kind of normalize. So there's nothing different going to happen here. I know that for a fact. But just the fact that we got at least one audience member asking the question, I figure it's worth covering. I mean, after all, sanity is right in line with being able to afford to live.
Well,
You
I
know?
mean,
Hey,
you know, John's a little upset that Harris didn't win, but that's
Oh,
besides the
stop.
point. I'm kidding, buddy.
I
But no,
I don't talk I don't talk politics on YouTube. Sorry.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, I am gonna add a comment to that.
Right.
You know, it's gonna get better.
Yep.
It really is. I think this election we actually stood up for what we believed, and it really showed.
I think the word mandate is really underutilized, and I think this time clearly, again, you know, I'm not getting political, but I think the direction everything happening in the last 24 hours has taken us is clearly on a mandate. Enough's enough. We want our lives back, and that is just plainly it. Now, I'm not talking about blue versus red, you know, whatever. We've been sitting on the sidelines forever, just letting things happen. Now we have an opportunity to actually make trucking great again. Perfect segue, I think. Synergy leaves a comment. Facts well said. My guy and I got our Class A together. We own our operators and both agree we got into this to get from others, but are so grateful we have each other. And I am grateful you are part of the show. Great point to make. Thank you for doing that. Also saying kudos to the wife. Thank you, Lorianne. Sassafras popping up with another question. How do you keep yourself motivated while you drive for long periods of time? Who wants to hit that one? All right, go ahead, Larry.
You have a group of nuts just like you talking on the phone all day.
I knew you were going to go there. There's got to be something a little bit more profound than that. Come on now.
You've always got one person that's serious, one person that's not so serious, and one that's always trying to get his truck fixed. Grumpy.
Well, you know, guys, for this particular thing, I know dead airspace is not good on YouTube, but for this particular reason, I'm going to pop a comment up there. No one read it out loud. Everybody just be quiet for a second. See what happens.
You just had to do that, didn't you, John? You just had to do that. This is going to be one of those cases. This is going to be one of those cases where I actually exercise. This is going to be one of those cases where I actually exercise the power of the pen.
Get you a group of friends like this, and you'll never have a bad day in your life.
I don't make the grumpy laugh. I can tell you that. If you guys were only privy to behind the scenes,
Hey,
you would
it's
understand
your
that.
turn to speak up.
What?
Not
Grumpy
gonna
has
happen.
himself muted. He's got himself muted. You know, this is your show too, you know.
Sorry, I had to.
Hey, man, you're all about the comedy end of it. Hey, I got no problem with that.
Whatever
we haven't
floats
laughed.
your boat, whatever
We
floats your
haven't-
boat, don't say water.
We haven't laughed in a while, so I just had to do that. Sorry about that. It was too serious, man.
Okay.
Too serious.
No. We aren't serious on this show. Whatever gave you that idea?
Not in
Seven
this
seasons.
case.
As long as, yeah,
Not in
7
this
seasons. As
case.
long as your wives aren't saying wait until your daddy gets home and makes you a monster when you're returning home. Yeah, you know, I've had that happen a couple of times, but I think the wife smooths it over pretty good. My kids are still a little afraid of me.
The great thing about being the monster, though, is when you get home, you get to be the monster, and they hate you, and then you get to be the monster, and they chase you and scream and laugh and giggle. So you get to be both.
There you go. I like that idea.
Yeah, it has its benefits. What? Go ahead, Grumpy. What?
Another benefit is if you're a grandpa like myself and you come home on the weekends, you have no time to yourself because the grandkids will be like magnets to you.
That's a benefit.
And what's wrong with?
I didn't say it was a bad thing. I'm just saying they'd be like magnets to you.
Well, you're treating it like a benefit.
So we found a system for my daughter.
Hold
my
on, Paul. We'll
older-
get to you in a minute.
We
Go ahead.
found a system with my older daughter is when she starts acting up, She gets told I'm not coming home.
Oh, that's mean.
Ouch.
Unless there's a reason.
I didn't start that one.
Right.
I did not start that, and it actually works. She starts behaving and everything else. I mean, she's a very intelligent little 3-year-old, but still.
Hey,
She'll catch on to that pretty soon, though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, boss man.
What's up?
I got one for you. I want you to handle this comment. It's the comment just came in. I want you to handle that comment.
Someday I'll get on this panel, but I don't want to pull the credibility on.
He means down.
Oh, nobody pulls credibility on this panel. Need I remind everyone?
He would raise credibility. That was my point. We're talking about 7 C's here.
Well, I thought the way he was wording it, it was kind of the other way around, but let me play it on both sides now, okay? I mean, I'm the one that led off this show by saying, and I quote, I want to start movement. I want to make trucking great again. Now, how in the hell can I do that, enforce that, or talk that, unless I have a panel of people on both sides of every style? Whether you're good, you're bad, professional, it don't matter. I mean, if you're better than me, if you're worse than me, I welcome all of them. Everybody is equal on my panel. So everybody has equal say on my panel.
I want to personally invite 7 C's to come on here because I think you guys would be, I think the viewers and everybody in this panel would be better for that. I've met him in person. He is an upstanding, great guy that understands the trucking industry at a level I probably will never get to. And I'm not going to be shy about that. So my kudos go out to that guy.
Can I add something to that? Or, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Grumpy.
Yeah, I just want to really quick say one thing. You know, when we began this show with you, boss man, it was just you, myself, and John down here.
Right.
Our family has grown. The show has gotten better, and we want as much feedback from our audience as possible. So please respond and give us questions, answers, anything. We would love to hear from you.
Amen to that. Bumper, what you got to say?
So I kind of want to go down to, you know, the comment down below. 7 C's, just call in. Do what I did. Call in a couple of times, see how it goes, and then now look at me now. I you know, if I take a day off, boss man yells at me.
Yeah, I mean, you just start out. You make the phone call. You call our hotline. It's 7. What is it? It's, I don't even know my own damn phone number. 860-785-3547. That's all you do. You just call in. You have a conversation with us. We'll keep the conversation moving. Everybody's great. Poet, what do you got to add to it?
Hold up. Go ahead. This one sec, Poet. You just realized I said a comment poking towards you, and it just went right over. You agreed with it and went right over your head.
I don't know. What were you poking at? I totally ignored that.
I say, you know, I called in and I started becoming the panel, and now if I take a day off, I get yelled at by boss man. You said exactly, and you continue talking.
Oh, I ignored that part.
That's your fault.
Yeah, there you go.
That's your fault.
That's right. You wanted to add something a minute ago, Poet. I'm not going to be rude to you.
Yeah,
What
go ahead, Poet.
You know, this life has been wonderful. I've said before, there's a couple of people here that have my private number. I'm in Canada, and I hope that you have international calling. If you need my number to talk to, reach out.
Yep. The easiest way to get involved is by doing what you're doing right now, 7 C's. You can leave a comment, okay?
Yep.
The second easiest thing to do is call the phone number right here, 860-785-3547. There's even one more way you can do it, and that's clicking on the StreamYard link. If you click on that StreamYard link, at the top, pinned on each and every one of these live shows, you'll have to answer one question, and once you do, boom, you'll be in. You'll have a camera. If you're not camera shy, you can be part of this panel too. Or
Oh,
Worst
even
and the worst, if you don't want
even
to do
if you
any of
are,
those
turn
things, hold on,
around.
poet. Hold on a minute. Worst thing worst, if you don't want to do any of those things, send me an email at that'struckinnews@outlook.com. I will reply and we can work out any and all details, my friend. Every trucker out there watching this show right now, you are as much a part of the family as these 5 next to me. All right. You are welcomed to opine, become part of the show, call the show, email us, or come up here and be one of the guys. Everything you guys say is just as valuable as what we say. In fact, if it were not for you, I wouldn't have a show. So I'm going to go back to another comment because I had another comment I thought was interesting. I believe it's going to be a quick turnout here for us. Wage dumping, migrant inflation, and trucking industry is going slow, Patsy. I don't think it's going to be extremely quick, but I do see things on the up and up. And I do think 2 of those problems you're mentioning, 18-wheeler, are going to be fixed relatively quickly. The wages and the foreigners driving trucks. I'll say it that way. Other than that, everything else is going to take some time. Anybody disagree with that? No, I don't see any.
Nope.
Okay, I don't see any.
Oh, Larry does.
And no,
Larry doesn't know what he thinks.
He's all I'm going to say is he's playing with his chicken. Synergy says our way of motivation is to remind ourselves why we got into this industry. We love traveling, and what better way to see the country and make money while doing it? Amen. I agree 100%. By the way, I'm going to close that statement out by saying I also run a vlog channel called World Truckin'. If you're interested in seeing the signs and seeing out what happens to a guy in the world of trucking, definitely check that out. The link is in underneath this video. I invite y'all to go look and subscribe to that as well. Go ahead, John.
We should go around the panel because we do this week after week, and most people don't even know who any of us are. So we should go around the panel and say who we are and where we're from. Like, I'm driving with John. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. You know, if you like comedy, I'm the place to go. And then you could just go around the panel and have everybody do the same, because a lot of these people don't know a lot of the people on the panel. So let's introduce ourselves.
Hold on. One more thing, John. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what type of freight do you haul? Let's throw a little twist in this.
Oh, okay. The type that goes in a big box that my truck pulls, that's refrigerated. What is that called again? Oh, reefer, but not the kind that you smoke, the kind that you pull.
There you go. Well, we're going to start opening the show with that very thing in mind. I'm glad you reminded me of that. Only an hour and 8 minutes into the show. All right, Thumper, you talk the talk, walk the walk, my friend.
Thumper and Bobo. You kind of seen him all tonight. I am up in North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
I am a cattle hauler and a grain hopper hauler also. I own my own company. And for some reason, my trailer's not loaded yet. And I've been sitting here for an hour. I just can't figure out why.
You have a lousy group of friends, I swear. You know, you got to get new friends. How about you, Larry?
I'm Larry the Trucker. I'm from all over. I'm not from one particular place. So
You're from where your hat drops. All right. So what do you do?
I haul reefer.
All right.
TikTok,
tell us about
Facebook, YouTube.
Hold up. Rephrase that.
Yes, I have TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube.
I've got to teach you about marketing, Larry. When you're told to talk about your social media, hi, my name is Larry the Trucker. I am featured on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook as Larry the Trucker. Come check me out right now because you need to know where Larry visits. Thank you and have a good day. Y'all be good now.
It's actually story time with Larry.
Yeah, he changed it.
Well, whatever. Get with the program, man. Be a marketing manager. What about you, Grumpy?
Well, y'all know me as Grumpy. I've been with Boss Man and John since the beginning. I'm the grumpy old trucker from Oklahoma. I've been driving truck for 24 years. I've done a variety. Right now, I currently drive dry van, You know, I've got several different platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Clapper, TikTok.
Simplify it. The best
You know,
ones and best ones for you are YouTube and Facebook.
yeah.
There
Thank you.
All right.
Also
So
known as the pit bull of YouTube.
what's your claim to fame? What's your best philosophy in terms of what you put on Facebook and YouTube?
Well, I say it this way: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right. Let's get to know Poet, and we'll move on to the next question. Tell us about yourself, my friend. If you don't want to be unfrozen, I'm going to move you. Well, see, that's what happens with people that live in Alberta, Canada. They freeze.
Oh, he's muted. Hang on. He's muted.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Everything froze on me. So
I see that. We were picking on you. Tell us about Poet.
Poet is a 70-year-old driver with 54 plus years on the road, OTR, as well as bush, as well as now ice road and
Good deal. Great,
ice
loving
truck.
Yeah, great experience.
I can be a mentor. Yes, I have my own mental problems. I'm here for you guys
Don't we all?
whenever you want. Get a hold of the producer. He'll give you a phone number.
There you go. Get hold of the producer. I like that.
You have any social media, Poet?
Yes, but it's not under my name. I've
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had 2 Facebook
I-
accounts taken away
I
from
meant-
me, so
I meant a content creator. I didn't mean personal.
No.
Before we
Joe-
lose anybody, and before we get any further into the show, I want to make it known to the 7Cs, 18-wheeler, and anyone else that has a social media presence currently in our audience to definitely check back on the next week's show. I am going to make those guys that I mentioned moderators on my YouTube chat because I want you guys to get in touch with me, pass any links. If you guys have something we need to know, I want to make sure that you have a wrench or the ability. I know I see 7Cs has a wrench, but if you don't have one, I want to make sure you have one. Go ahead, John.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot if you don't mind for 1 second. So
ahead,
we were
go
talking about parenting on the road, but as truckers, sometimes our kids are adults, and I think one of yours is looking for your attention down in the comments right now.
I see it. I was going to get to it. So thanks for trying to put me on the spot, but you failed.
So I see you got Sassafrass's Sassafrass question up there. How do you? Oh,
hey, my daughter. That's who he was talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Final question
Well,
from Sassafrass.
I did forget to say I'm on TikTok and I am working on doing a YouTube video, and it's that MN Trucking Guy 91. I did forget to say that when you kind of how Larry it reminded me.
That's right. We can work on the details on this thing that we're doing right now on next week's open. But go ahead.
We go.
There you
All
go.
right. So to answer your question on I can't read it. Sorry, it's so really small. Can you
My
read
final
that for me,
question:
please?
How are you going to assure the safety of yourself, family, and others while on the road?
Staying alert, doing your
carefully.
job right, carefully, making sure you do what you need to do. We got a system we have to go through to make sure our trucks are ready to go down the road.
Oh yeah.
And you just do that. Make sure you get your rest. And if you're the captain of the ship.
Yep.
If you are mentally not there, don't drive.
Yes.
Exactly.
I want to address.
I agree.
I want to address the comment on the screen. Honestly, when callers call in, it's hard for the audience to hear conversations. I agree 100%. That is why I'm making an upgrade. As soon as probably the next 2 weeks shows, I'm going to upgrade into a Bluetooth setup so that the callers will be heard crystal clear, and that would be a better conversation. So do have
bet.
patience with me and look for that coming up very
We're a
soon.
work in progress.
We are. I'm learning, and so is everybody else. So, anybody
I'm
else
just
want
here for the
to
laughs.
question? Frank, you got any advice on that?
Well, just kind of comment on what you said there. I mean, we've came a long ways in almost a year's time. A lot of improvements, a lot of changes, and hopefully everything is for the better, which I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything's going great.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll look into your question, Ariana. I thought you were already, but I'll have to look into that after we get off the air.
I'll be right back.
So that's Fresh's question again. Larry, what is your thoughts? I mean, do you have any thoughts on assuring the safety of yourself, family, and others while you're on the road?
I don't know. I'm by myself.
All right, what do you do for your own safety?
Yes, thank you.
You want to be the host, Humper? What do you do for yourself?
I yell at people, and
there you go.
He just woke up like 10 truckers.
No,
So?
Thumper's in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure you want to hear a loud horn. He could show you a loud horn.
I can't. I'm in the middle of town.
Oh, damn.
Too funny.
That would sort of make people mad.
So the other day, was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. I got to meet up with Boss Man, and as he was walking away from my truck, after "Oh, see you later," saying our farewells, he got about halfway down my trailer, and I cracked open my train horns. I swear to God, I watched him jump about 13'6". It was about as high as my trailer.
You got to be careful. He's older. You don't want to take him out like that.
Oh, come on now. Not all that bad.
And the thing is he was expecting it too.
weather report for you guys. It's snowing out here in Albuquerque, so slow down a little bit.
Good advice. Thank you. I didn't think it snowed in Albuquerque, but I guess, hey, miracles do happen, right? All right.
Well,
anybody last thoughts on the question on the screen?
No, just if you know your own body's limits. If you reach them, pull over. It's not worth it. Your life and everybody else's life around you is more important than anything you got in that box. And I'm sure the company that you work for, or if you work for yourself, really would rather have you not driving at that moment.
Yep, exactly.
And you know your own mind too.
Yes, I mean what we talked about earlier with regards to mental health. That really is a very big point. I think we need to spread more awareness on.
Yep.
It is a very big topic that I think we need to sit down and explore more. I do, in addition to holding the Frontline shows twice a week, I do also hold shows randomly at different times throughout the week under the name of Trucking City Journal. So this may be a good fodder of conversation to check that out. In the meantime, I'm up here on Saturdays and Wednesdays, normally at 7 o'clock. I welcome your input. I welcome you to be part of the show. Because if you want to stay up to date on news, trucking, and trends you need to be aware of, Truckin City is the place to go. Driving with John has his own channel. Be sure and visit him, like his stuff. Larry the Trucker, Thumper, and Grumpy and Poet, on behalf of all of us, I want to thank you for watching the show. Make sure to go down and like and subscribe to this broadcast. And stay tuned next week as we bring you more. Thumper, tell us more about this mental health thing and what we got to look forward to. If you want to be part of that show.
Yes, I do. Again, your mental health is very important, especially in the trucking world. And actually, I shouldn't say especially in the trucking world. In general. Okay. And this doesn't go out just for truck drivers. It goes out for everybody. If you're starting to feel down, don't be afraid to ask for help. There are people out there that are willing to help you. And as far as what we all learned tonight, hopefully you all had a good, fun show. I had a blast. God bless everybody in the United States. God bless. Actually, you know what? No, let's do this. God bless everybody against the whole world. We don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Amen. Well said, I think. That is great way to leave it. Guys, we do this for the biggest reason that benefit you, do what you need to make trucking great again. Me and the panel wish you the best. Thank you for joining us. All you got to do, back to you next week, for us again. Remember, guys, it's the truck that makes the delivery, but it's you that makes the difference. Check us out. Driving with John, Grumpfield Trucker, Fate, Midlife Trucker, Larry the Trucker, and Thumper, all wishing you Godspeed and well wishes. Till next week, remember, keep the faith, keep it real, and keep it rolling.